Welcome to the Walter Bosley channel. I'm going to share an unpopular opinion, and it is my opinion, but I've been interested in the subject of UFOs, as you know, for several years, like many of us out there. I mean, since I was a kid, most of us have been interested in this since we were kids. Now, in recent years, we've had a whole new wave of noobs, to put it simply, and no matter how long they've been interested in the subject of UFOs, they seem to be devoid of any grasp of ufology history. In my experience, it didn't matter how old I was or when I started being interested in it. I learned about, modern ufology history dating back to, the World War II era. In other words, years before I was born. And most of us, other than the noobs, seem to have a pretty good grasp on the history of what's come and what's gone. And again, I'm approaching 60. The people before me are way older, and I have the grasp on the history, that they know, the same history, the history of modern ufology. But a lot of the noobs do seem to think that it all started in 2017, which is simply laughable. But I don't want to get too far astray. The opinion that I want to share is that after several years, let's say after the first, more than a decade of my personal interest, I began to read and see ideas of others and become familiar with hypotheses that were not the ET hypothesis. And my opinion of that as the predominant hypothesis for ufology is well known. But over the years, for much longer than the years that I saw it as primarily and essentially an ET issue, I've been open to other possibilities, and they're the more I looked at it, there was increasingly evidence supporting other ideas. And then, of course, you learn things like some UFO organizations purposely omitting data which did not support the ET hypothesis, because that's what their agenda was all about. And what this does is it leaves these organizations not objective, right? They're supporting the hypothesis, which is their preference, and that's not what they're supposed to be doing as investigators. So where we're at now, in my opinion, and I'm going to assume that I don't have to go through the whole history of this. If you're not familiar with the history of all this, then I politely say go do your homework so that you can, be where I'm at. And many of us are at, not just me. But it's my opinion that the best thing to do right now, if you're interested, truly interested in the truth about UFOs, whatever that may be, in whatever particular instance. First of all, I don't think there's any one answer for it. And certainly I think ET is included in the mix. But my point is, right now and for a while, the best thing to do is to ignore big ufology. Okay? Ignore what they're showing you on TV. Ignore the pushing of the ET hypothesis. I'm going to tell you, the best thing to do is just kind of ignore the big names, the big stars. just pay no attention to the controversies. Just kind of separate yourself from the noise that is popular ufology. And there's a variety of reasons for that. It's because agendas are usually definitely being pushed, and distraction. It's also a distraction tactic. Consider that somebody wants us to be focused on the ET hypothesis because they don't want us to be looking elsewhere. So that's my view. That would be my best advice. Is you'd be fine ignoring popular ufology. All the big stars, all the things they're pushing on TV and in films, and start looking at the alternative possibilities. And you know what? I think, unless you're stubborn, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised and much more satisfied when you start looking at the issue from a different perspective than ET, or that they're keeping secrets from us. Not that there aren't secrets, but get away from the disclosure obsession, the ET obsession, the popular ufology obsession, and kind of go at it from a different angle. Make it more personal in your pursuit. I think you'll be more satisfied. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you, and I'll be back with another Walter Bosley bit.